till high school, we were, sort of attached to the hip from a very early age, and will carry those memories that he gave me with me for the rest of my life. Like many people here, it's hard for me to remember a time when I didn't know. And it's incredibly difficult to comprehend, for me to comprehend our reason for being here today. But it is a tremendous honor to share a few words of his memory. And we lay to rest Bill, who was our friend, our brother, our father, our son, and our soulmate. And despite our sorrow, it's just simply impossible for me to sit here and think about Bill and not smile. I'm not doing a very good job of that. His infectious laugh, his photographic memory of movie lines and Seinfeld lines, his love of music, his deep love of food, his love of food and music, and most vividly his true love of the people around him. I will miss, of the many things I will miss sharing stories with Bill, telling stories with Bill, because nobody ever celebrated a punchline. He almost made me think I was funny once.
I've known Bill since he was 5, and even at that age, he possessed the uncanny ability to relate to people of all stripes. His smile and carefree attitude put others at ease, making those around him feel welcome and included. Now, it's important to emphasize this ability extended beyond what you might think of as the usual suspects. Kids in class, teammates, perhaps neighborhood friends. At an age in which many of us were starting to tune out the adults in our life, Bill was actually effortlessly befriending our parents and teachers. These friendships took on a life of their own. I remember Bill swinging by our house on most weekend nights, coaxing a second dinner out of my mother, hoping before we left we could squeeze in a game of euchre. The funniest is when Bill started playing computer games with Kobi's mom, Linda. Kobi would trudge upstairs to bed, only to hear Bill and his mom laughing for hours upstairs while they competed at chess. Our French class started one day with a confession. Guillaume, I had the most wonderful dream last night. Our teacher, who was Bill's longtime neighbor and many decades our senior, went on to detail how, in an extended dream sequence, she and Bill had spent the evening ballroom dancing. Bill, of course, had regaled the crowd with his grace and talent. And in class that day, Bill took this revelation in stride, as though the story was not strange at all, though he was expecting to hear it. With Bill, it seemed like the sort of thing was always happening. Now, Bill's open-mindedness and tolerance sometimes belied the firmness with which he held his own beliefs. As often as Bill was laughing, he always made a point, even when we were young, of not doing so at the expense of others. Bill was honest with others, but also with himself. He embraced who he was, and was never afraid to style himself accordingly. Wide whale corduroys, vintage leather jackets with ungodly holes. He wore falling apart tivas and briefly had dreadlocks. Terrible dreadlocks. His Catholic faith was a touchstone, playing an important role in the loving family in which he was raised and the nurturing family he and Kathy created. Bill never advertised his politics, and to people who didn't know him well, his conservative leanings could be a surprise. And for as much fun as Bill liked to have, he always demonstrated remarkable discipline. He took his roles as a student, as a father, as a husband, and as an architect seriously. He had high expectations for himself and higher expectations for those around him. Anyone could be friends with Bill. Earning his trust was something else entirely. Bill's carefree sense of adventure inspired each of us to live a more animated life. Whether his long legs were splayed under the kitchen table, or if he was leaning over ready to tell a story, Bill was always a man in motion. In most ways, that was true. Bill was on the go, always ready for whatever came next. I remember speeding down the backcountry roads of Pennsylvania, careening down ski slopes in Tahoe. I remember staying up all night just so we could ride the Staten Island ferry at sunrise. I remember playing a never-ending sequence of games. Rummy or gin on Bill's sun porch, euchre with friends, and of course, radio wars. For those of you who don't know, in radio wars, the object was to be the first person to name the song playing. As many of you recall, playing with Bill was an exercise in futility. Within a few notes, Bill could name the song, the band, the year in which it was released, and if you were lucky, he'd sing you the chorus. It was always total dominance. Bill embraced simple joys and filled the empty spaces with near constant laughter, a gift he shared freely and openly with everyone. His enthusiasm for life also meant that, as Barry has demonstrated, sometimes rules were not broken per se, but bent. It was here that his honesty and transparency could be a lifesaver. When we inevitably found ourselves in a tight spot, Bill could flash his patented smile, tell the truth, and somehow almost forgive it. It was an enviable gift, but here's my one piece of advice that I learned the hard way. Bill was an expert. Don't try that at home. Now, often Bill had the good sense to stop just before things got out of hand. One morning, he arrived at school with a brand new electronic watch that he claimed could act as a remote control. When class started that morning, Bill began to inconspicuously control the television from his desk. As the television turned on and off for what appeared to be no reason, a confused teacher and dozens of classmates began to speculate what could be happening. Chaos ensued, as so often does when people suspect they are witnessing divine intervention. Before things got too far, Bill stopped, turned his attention to his textbook, and proceeded to act as though nothing had happened. Bill's rule bending was most often in the pursuit of good-natured fun. He once snuck out to a dance contest in downtown Kalamazoo with a good friend of ours, sporting a colorful assortment of his mother's vintage clothes he found in storage. I do not know how he fit it. To the surprise of no one, Bill won. And at this point, Kobi's supposed to be demonstrating how. By walking across the stage on his hands. A trick he had tried many times in the school parking lot, but it just never quite managed to pull off. When the Kalamazoo Gazette wanted a few quotes for print, he decided he needed an alias to cover his tracks. With just a few seconds, he did the best he could. Mr. Bill Mells. Bill Melluish may no longer physically be with us. Long live the spirit of Bill Mells.
We're almost there. I promise. So, if pressed to characterize Billy in just one word, I believe he was an inspiration. And as his friend for many decades, Billy gave us all the inspiration to be ourselves. And true to form, over the past 18 months, that inspiration turned into courage as he confronted his greatest battle with the same upbeat optimism and cheery perseverance that defined his life. And all the opportunities we had to spend together in spite of grave odds, Bill never once complained, asked why me, or showed any sign of fear. He was just Bill, laughing, making jokes, asking about everybody else, and when he could get some more food. One of the last times I saw him, just a few weeks before he passed, I was helping him to get ready for bed. By this point, he'd lost nearly all his vision and was fairly unsteady on his feet. And so I helped him to the bathroom and then helped him get his clothes changed for bed. And before he lay down, I gave him a hug. And he leaned in and gave me his Herbert right on my neck. I froze, speechless, and Kathy, who was already in bed, said, "Did you just give Kobi a Herbert?" Billy just smiled. He's the master of that. Bill's gift of inspiration that we celebrate in his life was exemplified by his remarkable courage in facing death. And this strength is a testament, I believe, not only to Bill's inner peace, but also to his lasting faith in God and the superhuman love that can only come from a deeply devoted spouse and loving family. We will miss him for the rest of our lives, but all he has given us will ensure that his inspiration and memory never leave. We love you.
I'm Jenny. I'm Billy's oldest sister. We just wanted to say a little bit about Billy as our sibling. When Billy was born, perhaps my brother James was the happiest. He had patiently waited through almost 14 years of girl babies coming through our door, and he desperately wanted a brother. During my mom's pregnancy, he would try and convince her to have a boy, and even called this baby Bill well before the due date. Thankfully, Billy was a boy, and James got his brother. When most boys his age wanted their own room, James was adamant that his little brother would share a room with him. And to see a bedroom where a crib and baby stuff mixed in so well with the teenage boys' posters of Aerosmith and Nolan Ryan was pretty special. From the moment he arrived, Billy was extremely loved, and he returned that love to us a millionfold. As the little brother, Billy was naturally thrown into the mix and chaos of whatever we had going on. And coming after a set of twins, he knew that if he wanted to be included and or get any sort of attention, he better bring his A game. And that he did. As a little boy, he would do whatever we wanted him to do, no matter how boring or crazy the activity. He was our plaything. I could use him as a model for my photography class. Annie and Sarah could even dress him up as a girl if they needed him to be a girl for their shows, one of their many shows, and he happily went along. My mom did get a little concerned that they could use his identity. Clearly that didn't happen. He was all boy. Billy truly loved his big family. He loved playing games, board games, card games, and anything recreational, as these were ways for our family to play and laugh and be together. Frisbee or wiffle ball games in South Haven, skiing up at Boyne on New Year's Eve, heading out to the farm in Iowa, driveway basketball, backyard croquet or badminton, neighborhood sledding, dancing in the bay window, or piling into the newest version of our as big as they come station wagon and heading out to Gull Lake for the day. Whatever fun thing was happening, Billy was probably at the center of it, organizing it, selling it, loving it. I think he even became the entertainer because that was his ticket to be included. He must have figured that if he could provide entertainment, he could come along to anything, even to Annie's bachelorette party. Not as the entertainment, but as the driver, which Annie finally agreed to after some tough negotiations. And as you can imagine, Billy got into the role, dressed up in questionable attire as their escort, and turned the party up an embarrassing notch or two. His sweet smile and goofy antics could lighten our mood, take away our stress, and make us laugh even in some of our toughest moments. When he was about 7, he decided to perform a whole album, lip-syncing and dancing, to make Sarah laugh after sensing that she had had a tough day of 6th grade. And when Jackie arrived home from college one year on December 23rd, panicking because she had not yet purchased one Christmas gift, Billy was there, waiting for her, ready to shop. That night of shopping, driving up and down Westridge through Christmas traffic, darkness and slush, became one of their happiest memories together. Sharing a birthday on December 29th always gave those two a special connection. No one would argue, not even Billy, that he was a mama's boy. He protected her, teased her, laughed with her, and cried with her. When he was 14, she helped him to accept his diabetes diagnosis as God's plan for him. And when touchy subjects had to be broached with my mom, we would send Billy in to get the job done. He put his arm around her and convinced her that whatever our plan, it was a good one, and to just trust him. She always said yes to Billy. He wore his mom's boy reputation, really, as a badge of honor. And when I read how one of Billy's colleagues described him as artistic, meticulous, and having a great business sense, I thought of my dad. As the last kid at home, Billy and my dad developed a strong father-son relationship. My dad influenced him and guided him. They were friends. They played music together and even published a book together. When I called home, I was often told that the two of them were off doing something, Cub Scouts or golf or something at Hackett. I even called home once and was told that my dad was on the couch with an ice pack because he had pulled a hamstring at one of Billy's track meets. My dad tried his very best to keep up with that kid. Billy was born into this big family and celebrated each new member's arrival. He made Bill, Vern, Jeff, and Jeremy each feel more like a brother than a brother-in-law. He made Patty feel like a sister. Each niece and nephew had a special place in his heart. He remembered all their birthdays and really loved being Uncle Billy. And during one summer vacation in South Haven, Billy had decided to invite Kathy so he could introduce her to our family. And I knew that Billy was really in love because he was actually nervous and told me not to embarrass him. And I also remember when Billy leaned into me and said, "And you're really gonna like the Spicer family, because they're just like us." And he laughed and I said, "It's true." And because of the big age span, from the time Billy was little, we were heading to college, back on break, moving home, and then moving out, perhaps to somewhere far away. Because of this, Billy learned real fast that time with the people you care about is precious, and to make the most of time. It really showed in how present he was when he was with you, and in his pure joy of living. Being so far apart geographically has made this last year very difficult. Being far from our brother and his beautiful family through their struggle was heartbreaking. But the weeks when we were able to go and spend time with him, help him, and just be with him, although some of the toughest weeks we will ever have, they were also extremely special, and we will have them with us forever. With Kathy by his side and Emmett, Lena, and Vivienne giving him superhero strength, we watched Billy remain faithful and strong, optimistic, gracious, loving, and kind. And I think that he was only able to keep up his sense of humor for as long as he did because of the many, many prayers, cards, notes, gifts, and visits from all of you. So we thank you. Billy made every room brighter and brought many more smiles to life just by being who he was. As we remember so many wonderful stories about him, I believe that we will most remember how Billy made each of us feel happy and loved.